So this technique that I'm going to talk to you about now is about maintaining light on your objects, and this one is going to be called jumping the lights. And basically what we're trying to do is trying to leave the areas that we want as a really good highlight and jump over them, if you like, so put the paint either side. And it's sometimes nice to do this for very, very dark leaves, but I've just got an apple leaf here with a very subtle shadow, but it will just give you an idea of the process that I'm talking about. So here we go, we're going to put some water onto the apple leaf, or rather the drawing of the apple leaf if we're going to be specific, and get my glaze absolutely right, make sure there's no puddles. Usually when I'm doing something like a leaf, I'll always take the water a little way up the stem, just so you don't end up with a full stop where the leaf stops and the stem starts. They usually should soften into one another. So I've got my glaze there, and what I usually do is just look through my eyelashes to see where the highlight falls, and the highlight's falling right in the centre here around the middle of the leaf. So I've got my colour already mixed up, which is a really good plan, always to have your colours ready. As soon as you've got your glaze on, you can pick your colour up and you can drop it on. So I'm going to drop my colour here and here. So I've jumped over the light, I haven't gone on to the light area, and I'm putting it around where the highlight is. So I'm putting it on quite softly because we want to put on the colour quickly, and we've got the glaze on there, so that should give us a little bit of time. So anywhere where there's light, we're going to jump over it. So we're going to jump around that one and just put a little bit of colour here coming into my serrations, and a little bit along here. So I'm exaggerating the light on this leaf just for the first glaze, just to show you the process. I'm going to put in my little serrations here by dragging the brush backwards, and I'm leaving that whole area to settle. I'm just going to run a tiny little bit of green down through the midrib, and while that's all settling, I'm just dropping in the colour into these serrations. Now the nice thing about dropping the colour in and jumping over the lights is that we don't have to lift out any colour here, we've just got to soften it. So after you've put all your colour on, take all the water and the colour out of your brush, so it's a nice damp brush, and then you can go from the light that you've left and sweep back towards the leaf, and that way you get rid of all those little fingers of green that are coming in, and you can also extend and drag a little bit of the colour through some of the softer lights at the bottom. So what you're doing here is you're only ever putting a clean damp brush into the lights so that you don't drag the green into it on the highlights, and on the softer lights you can just soften over them. So this is quite nice if you've got something that's got a really strong contrast between light and dark, and this would be your base colour that you're putting on, so we know that we want to get at least 50% of the colour on for this leaf, and we just drag a little bit up there. So at this point, when you've got everything settled, you leave well alone and just leave it to dry. You can lift out some of the veins, but I'm going to show you how to do that on the next section.